Good morning. I'm Dr. Tom Rivera. I'm retired from Cal State San Bernardino, and welcome to our oral history project of South Colton. Today is November the 22nd, and it's about 9:30 in the morning, and we're on the fourth floor of the Fowl Library. And helping with the project is Frank Acosta, who's behind the camera. He's part of our committee also. And today's interviewees, our guest today is Mr. and Mrs. Luis Lopez Contreras and Lucy Contreras. Lucy Contreras, welcome to Cal State.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for being with us this morning. Eh?
Hi,
Thank you so much. I'm delighted that you were available today, especially on a rainy day like today. And not only that, I picked you up early at the house. So thank you so much for being ready. Eh?
Okay,
Why don't we get started?
Okay.
Luis, you were a prisoner of war
yes.
during World War II.
Oh, true.
And you served in the service in 1939 to 1945.
No, 1943 to 1946.
1943 and 1946. And Luis, you were in high school when they drafted you into the service.
I was in high school and working for the George Air Force Base, which at that time was the San Bernardino Air Depot.
It was Norton, it's Norton now,
It's not
but now in the old days it was called
San Bernardino Air Depot.
San Bernardino Air Depot. And tell me, you were drafted, you were a junior in high school?
I think it was a sophomore, I forget.
You were 18 years old,
Yeah.
and they drafted you. And where did they take you to basic training?
Denver, Colorado, Buckley Field.
Uh-huh. And how long was your basic training?
I forget, but I went to my basic training, and I finished my basic training, and then I was told that they were going to send me to Chanel Field for more training on engine mechanics.
Okay, okay.
In the meantime, they asked me about what I was in high school. I was in the high school band, so they put me in the Air Force marching band.
Oh, you were in the Air Force marching band.
Well, yes, because they didn't know what to do with me.
Well, you were obviously a good musician.
So anyway, so I was there about 2-3 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then everything fell apart. They sent me to Kingman, Arizona for gunnery training.
Came in Arizona for gunnery training, and that was the Army Air Corps?
Army Air Corps.
The Army Air Corps.
Yes.
And how long did you train as a gunner?
I don't know how long it took. I forget, but
Uh-huh.
we had the shotgun, then the turret training, air-to-air firing, air-to-ground, and then ground-to-air, and then the shotgun. Yeah.
So an extensive training on how to shoot
Yes, how to
the
shoot.
weapons that were
Moving
on the
targets and whatever, yes.
and also the weapons on the plane.
Uh-huh.
And then where were you assigned after you went to the training?
After our gunnery training, we were taken to, I forget, it was Rapid City, South Dakota. And that's when they had the pilots have to shoot the gunners that they wanted. I don't know how that one worked. But I wound up with the Blaine Thomas crew.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I met the bombardier, the navigator, the pilot, Blaine Thomas, co-pilot,
And
Max
you-
Bartholomew.
Uh-huh. And then you were in the bomber, the 427th Bomber Squadron.
Yeah, well, I belonged to the, don't forget this, the 303rd Health Angel Bombardment Group.
Well, you have a cap here someplace. Where's your cap? So you can show us.
What?
The cap, la gorra.
Oh,
No la pierdas, no la pierdas. Oh, here we go. Okay, show it to the camera. First of all, you belong to the Colton VFW. Post,
Yes.
what's the name of the post?
That's
A ver qué es. Post 6476.
Yeah.
And then on the side of the camp you have,
I see, the side there.
get it loud so I can see. On this side, Luis. It says, prisoner of war of World War II, And at the back, it says the 8th Air Force. And on this side, Luis, ¿qué dice? It says B-17 Ball Turret Gunner.
Yes.
That's what you were. That was your assignment.
My assignment, yes.
And they, as a gunner, they took your squadron to England.
Yes.
And in England, you had missions to fly to Germany.
Yes.
Tell me about those missions.
To start with, our mission was daylight precision bomb. If the bombardier didn't see the target, there was no bomb dropped.
Uh-huh.
And every time we went up, we only had one bomb run, which is murder.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
When we were shut down we were supposed to make 25 missions. And we were told that if we survived 5 missions, we were living on borrowed time, which was true. And on our 21st mission to Dresden, Germany, the last mission of the 8th Air Force,
Well, you flew 21 missions?
21, we completed the mission, 21,
Uh-huh.
even though we were on fire. But we made the first bomb run. The lead bombardier couldn't drop the bombs because he couldn't see the target. So we went around the IP back to the bomb run. The second bomb run, there was a B-24 squadron underneath us, so we couldn't release the bombs either. Third time, we were already on fire. We were still flying, so we made the bomb run, and the lead bombardier, he dropped his bombs. Then the order was given to prepare to bail out, and I pulled my handle on the belly gun, and it wouldn't move because the hydraulic we were all messed up. So the pilot said to the radio man, "You crank him out, and if that turret doesn't move, when I give the order to bail out, you bail out." He said, "And that's an order." So Walter Smith, I call him Smitty, he cranked me out of the turret, put me on the oxygen bottle, and connected me to the harness, my parachute harness. So then the pilot says, when the order was given to bail out, the pilot says, "Let me know who's going out." But he wasn't going to move out, bail out until everybody was gone. So the tail gunner says, tail gunner going out with Melvin Carlson. Then Smitty, the radio man, says, the radio man going out. And then I said, belly gunner going out. And when we bailed out, the prop wash, you can't move your hands to pull the ripcord. By the time I got rid of the prop wash, the thing exploded, and I felt bad. I thought maybe the other guys were inside the plane yet.
Oh,
And that was one horrible spot.
oh, it sure was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but you know, Luis, they mentioned that the B-17s, as they left England, you could easily predict that 20% would be lost.
Oh, yes.
And in your case, you flew 21 missions,
21 missions.
and then you were shot down the 21st mission.
Yeah.
And when you were shot down, where were you shot down? Were you shot down in Germany someplace?
Yes, in Dresden, Germany.
Okay,
The last
okay.
mission that the 8th Air Force made, Dresden, Germany, the marshalling yards. So when I landed on my parachute, I landed with my, like this. And all my left leg and my ankle was all messed up, and my spine just cracked from the, and so before I could even get out of the parachute, about 1,000 people, I guess, angry civilians, got a hold of me, tore cut my strings on the parachute, picked me up, dropped me on the floor, kicked me, pricked my ribs. Several times I was picked up and thrown on the ground.
Oh, so you were beat up by the...
I was beaten, all of us were beaten up. And he threw me to the ground, maybe 4 or 5 times. Kicked my body, cracked my ribs. And then they tied my hand behind my back and put my arms up on top of my neck. And my spine cracked, dislocated my shoulders. Then I was hit, I don't know with what, right here. You can see I had a hole in my forehead, that's when I blacked out.
Well, the dimple is still there.
Oh, yeah, well, for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
And I was so coming down. I guess I got hit because I was bleeding from here from my kneecaps,
Mhm, mhm.
and they pulled a shrapnel out of here and out of my shoulder here. So at the end of the beating, I could hear his two airmen, which were Eddie Essinger and Melvin Carlson, the tail gunner and the waist gunner. So I heard the shots, so they shot them.
Ah,
The civilians, that wasn't the military, it was civilians,
that shot them.
out in both. And after I came to, they picked me up and they had me up between two haystacks. And they were to shoot me, but I could hardly stand up. And here comes the German military and they took me away.
So the German military saved you
Yes.
from being executed.
Yes, they saved me from being executed. And they didn't do us any harm, not the military, the civilians. And I could hear somebody say, "We didn't start this war, you did, so we finished it."
Aha. Louis, and Luis, and how old were you when you were sat down?
I was, let's see, I was either 19 or 20.
Oh, you were young. You were in your 20s then. You were very
Yes, I
young.
was a young man.
You were very young. And then how long were you a prisoner of World War II?
Not long, because that was near the war, near the end of the war. So they took me to Czechoslovakia and brought us back to Germany,
Uh-huh.
and they put us into this camp, prison camp with the English soldiers that had been there for many, many years, I guess. And then this guy, they had picked up the German lingo being there that long, and they told us, it says, tomorrow they're gonna march you out of here, and there's about what they call a little forest, maybe 2 hours from here, walking distance. And when they get you there, they're gonna shoot you. They said, do whatever you can do. So they took us out of the camp, and we started marching. Not marching, just walking. We must have walked about over an hour. And it was a crossroads, and this tank with a star on it turned around through a volley of bullets over their heads and looked up their rifles. General Patton and his Third Armored Division. And he comes in the Jeep. This guy was in front of his troops. He was in the backwards, you know.
So Patton will lead his troops, and
Yeah,
these are the ones that
came out with
rescued you.
on his Jeep, you know, and he's so out of condition. And oh boy, he went bananas. And so then he put me on the tank, and we had a Colonel Francis. He put him on the tank, and the other guys on Jeeps, and took us back to the compound.
Uh-huh.
And then he ordered a T-47 and flew us to France, and they put us in the Camp Lucky Strike Field Hospital. That's
Camp
what
Lucky Strike Field Hospital?
Yeah.
Named after the cigarettes?
Yeah,
Okay.
Lucky Strike, Old Gold, and Chesterfield. They had.
Oh, there were field
Yeah,
camps. Huh?
but I was put in. I was in the hospital when Germany surrendered, and so he put us there, and he put another guy in charge of us to find out how we were going to be treated, how we were going to get hospitalization aid, and then report it back to whoever.
Uh-huh.
And then when I went to the oh boy, it's in my brain, it's lighting. Anyway, I went to ask for help from the Veterans Administration, whatever. And so they said, well, where were you treated? I said, and I told him. He said, there's no record of you ever being there. I said, what?
So on top of being a prisoner of war, they couldn't find your medical records.
No. So I went all these years trying to work. Finally, I couldn't work anywhere. So they put me on what is it, that's the word that I'm looking for. You can work as a young man and,
Disability?
the disability, but they put in the thing that I didn't have to pay for medications, what is this and that, you know, but not through the military.
Mhm.
And I went to the VA hospital in Loma Linda a couple of times, and they said, there's no record of you ever being a POW. I said, what? Yeah. I wasn't there long because it was towards the end of the war, but it was long enough to destroy my body that I couldn't work.
Uh-huh. So the injuries that you got when you were prisoner of war were just very, very severe and extensive,
Yes.
that it completely disabled lots of parts of your body.
I have a paper here. Get this. My thing. I should have gotten that before. I forgot I had it there. I didn't. I went to the hospital last week and I didn't take the papers out of there. You can read it.
With this?
Yeah. I'll show you what my injuries are there.
That's the only papers in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I didn't take them out the last time we went. You can read that. That's what's wrong with me.
Well, Lisa, you are very, very fortunate because you were born in 1923, you said, Luis?
Mhm.
And how old are you now?
91.
And with all these injuries that you have, oh, everything, Luis, knees and different type of tissue that were injured,
Mm-hmm.
your tibia,
Mm-hmm.
your ligaments.
Yeah.
Wow, Luis, congratulations. You did it. You did it, Luis. You're
Yeah.
a tough guy. You're a tough guy. Well, and I'm not surprised, Luis, because you were born and raised in Colton, right?
Yeah.
So you're a tough guy to begin with, right?
No, not really. Somebody wanted me because I was too short.
Well, tell me about your mom and dad. Tell me about your mom and dad. Where are they from?
My dad was from San Luis Potosi, Mexico.
Uh-huh.
He came over here. He told me his aunt got him over here when he was 5 or 6 years old. And I don't know how old my mama was. I don't know how she got over here.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But that was in the 1910s, I guess, when we had all the problem in Mexico. My dad came over here with his aunt. And then when she had her kids, that was Gordo and all these guys.
Yes, we'll talk about them in a few minutes. But your dad came over, and where did he work, Luis?
Now let's work here. He worked at Kaiser Steel.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in the younger days, before Kaiser, he was a orange picker.
A boluchero.
Boruchero, yeah.
Was he a cienero?
Cienero, yeah.
He was a cienero?
Yeah, yeah.
He picked 100 crates a day?
100 crates, man, he'd be out there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And was he working for El Gordo?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Gordo.
Yeah. And
So was your dad?
my dad also worked for El
Yeah,
Gordo.
yeah,
Tell me, now
yeah.
that you mentioned my dad, tell me about, how do you know my dad?
Well, I met him on 7th Street when I used to be on 7th Street there in the market there. And he was
Uh-huh.
always laughing and happy-go-lucky guy, you know.
Uh-huh.
And he worked for Gordo, and then he would help Gordo pay the pickers, you know.
Oh, okay,
And
on
he was
Saturday,
just
on
a-
Saturday, on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturdays.
Uh-huh.
He was just a joyful man. He was happy. He was never sad. He was
Yeah.
always laughing and moving around. Rumba.
Rumba was my dad's nickname, Rumba,
Yeah.
Rumba.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was just a. Mhm. My doctor wrote something here. It says workability in one of these papers. I don't know whether I bought it or not.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
What about your last mission?
Hmm? Here,
Déjalo ahí. Oh, yes, okay, 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 okay. Yeah, it describes the last mission that you were on
yeah.
and when you were shot down.
Mm-hmm.
They shot down, very good. Well, tell me more about your buddies on 7th Street, Luis. You mentioned El Gordo,
El
who was a
Gordo.
contractor, and he would take the pickers to the orange groves, and they would get paid on Saturday.
Yeah.
And my
Uh-huh.
dad would help him make the payments on, make the.
The payments of the
of the
papers,
workers on
of the
Saturday?
workers on Saturday, yeah.
Tell me more about some of the other guys. You mentioned that you knew the Oliva family.
Oh, yeah, I met the family when we moved into that place, into the house there
Uh-huh.
in 1933. And that's when I first got interested in the music because I had the band, the Latin Labs.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, and
And,
then-
who was the director or the conductor of the Latin Lads?
The bass player, Augie.
Uh-huh, Augie.
The bass player, and Nick Martinez playing piano and clarinet, and Baker who played saxophone.
Uh-huh,
And they had 3 trumpet players which had older than me, so but the younger guys, with Lockwine and all the guys,
uh-huh,
he was the drummer,
uh-huh.
and Kiro, Angie was the clarinet, and well, they had a good band.
And you were a musician too?
But yeah, my Uncle John got me to study music.
John, ¿cómo se llama?
Rios.
John Rios, Juan
Yeah,
Rios.
Juan Rios, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He started teaching me how to read music when I was 5 years old.
Oh, you were a young one then?
Oh, yeah,
Young one.
because my dad told my teachers I was just he said, you better do something to be up here.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So I started to learn how to read music when I was 5 years old. And then he got me into the saxophone deal, you know, he played alto that I played. I played my first dance band when I was 12 years old.
You were a young one?
Yeah, and
You were
I
young.
played with the older guys.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And so did I start pumping.
So you played in the Valley Ballroom and
No, I played in the Pickering. I was 12 years old, I had to get out of the bandstand because I was too young. At 11
Okay.
o'clock, they played, at that time they played till 1 o'clock.
uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
So I had
So
to get
you-
out of the bandstand at 11.
Because of curfew,
Yeah,
curfew for you.
curfew.
Now,
Yeah.
what places did you play, Luis?
I played there and most of the places, whoever hired the band, but mostly all the time at this Cortland Ballroom. We go there and play.
Which ballroom?
Cortland Ballroom.
Cortland, where is that located?
In San Bernardino
Okay.
on F Street.
Okay,
It's gone now. This is in the dark ages.
no, not really, not really. When you were 12, you were there with the 30s, during the Depression.
Yeah.
The Depression, how was the Depression? Can you tell me a little bit about
I-
how it affected your family?
I never went hungry. To me, it was just, I didn't think it was just, we didn't suffer.
Uh-huh,
Because my dad was always playing or doing something, you know.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
We didn't go hungry or anything.
uh-huh. And then everybody was poor, was that?
Everything was poor.
Everybody in the same boat.
Oh, no, everybody's in the same boat, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never felt, I guess I was never afraid. We were never afraid because my dad was over there with us.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And then when Franklin D came into the picture, then I think that's when my dad started to do more things with his working deal.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the
Yeah.
president? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a big change for my dad
Uh-huh.
at that time. Then he started working here and there, oh boy, and you know.
So things got better.
Oh, a lot better.
Things
yeah.
got better under FDR.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Now tell me, you were in high school when you were playing the band.
Yes.
Did you play for Colton High School also?
I played for the high school band, and at times I played for the high school orchestra
Uh-huh.
with them. Yeah. Because our friend the actor, Gene Evans. He was always making plays, and they needed me and another Eddie Serrano. They take us to play saxophone for the play.
Uh-huh.
And Gene Evans would say, "I want these two guys to play in the band."
Because Gene Evans was a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
And he started an war movie called Steel Helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were a buddy of his, huh?
Oh yeah, we were high school buddies. His dad ran a grocery store,
Do you know where the grocery store was located?
7th Street,
Seven-
7th and Holly, somewhere around there.
Oh, in North Colton.
Yes,
In North Colton. In North Colton. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go to the theater at the time when I was a kid. They had one section for us guys and a section for the white guys.
Oh, talking about growing up in a segregated community,
Yeah, I went to segregated school.
you mentioned the theater.
They didn't like us at all. They said we were, I don't know, animals, I guess.
Well, you were just segregated from North Colton and South Colton.
Yeah,
And the division line was the railroad tracks,
yes.
the railroad track.
The railroad tracks, and my parents could not go to North Colton at that time in the 1920s, once a month,
Why is that, Luis?
because they were not allowed, we were not allowed to go to North Colton. Only Chicano and South Colton. When I was a young kid, and even in high school, me and Severo and Bernie, we had roller skates. We'd go to North Colton to the park, Fleming Park, and the police would say, go to your site.
And what year was this? How old were you
And
then?
then I was, heck, in the 1930s, 35, 36,
Okay. About 13, 14 years old?
14 years old, teenager.
Uh-huh.
And the only time we could go to North Colton, going to school. Then I went to Lincoln School. I don't know why they put me over there, some of us. And those guys did not like us. I said,
Lincoln School was on
what is it?
La Cadena and D Street or so?
In East Street, that's where the police station is right now.
Okay, in City Hall.
Yeah.
In City
City
Hall.
Hall.
Yes.
The guys didn't want anything in the school class. The bigger guys, they see us young guys, they just push us and whatever. We were dirty.
You mean physically they would push you
Yeah,
and pick on you?
yeah, sure. They didn't like us. I don't know why.
What grade was this, Luis?
Huh?
What grade was this?
I was 5th grade.
You were what, about 10 years old or so?
Something like that.
10 years old? And so school, tell me about, you went to school at Garfield Elementary School?
Garfield, Wilson. When I was going to Wilson School, that's when they put us in Lincoln School.
Ah, okay.
And then they brought us back to Woodrow Wilson. That's when I graduated into high school.
Uh-huh.
In high school, we'd see the paper deals and the readings. Keep our high school clean, keep the dirty Mexicans out of here.
No.
Well, yes, sir.
No. What year, Luis?
Yeah.
tell you, there was,
Keep our campus clean, vote for, who was running for president I forget his name. Keep our campus clean, vote for so-and-so, because Joe Flores was going for the president student body, Joe Flores, our buddy Joe Flores.
Joe Flores, okay.
Yeah. I forget who the white guy it was. And keep our campus clean, don't vote for a dirty Mexican.
Against Joe Flores.
Again, Joe Flores.
Now tell me, where did Joe live?
On,
Was he a brother of Moises?
Yeah, Moy was in the same class with me and not Barbara. I tell you, my mind is.
Oh, don't worry about it. Let me ask you, was Ernie Garcia in your class?
Andy
Neto, Ernie Garcia.
Neto Garcia. No,
No, he wasn't in your class?
he was one in my class.
So getting back to the running for ASP president, they they used that against Joe Flores. Eh?
Yeah, because whoever was in charge of that, because even some of the white guys, Joe Flores was a very well liked man. What they did is they paid another guy to run, and then what they happened is they had two Chicanos and one white,
Uh-huh.
divide and conquer.
Uh-huh. So they were still and they still do that.
Yeah.
They still do that.
Not as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
But how was your high school experience at Colton High School? What was your experience like?
It
Did
was
the
okay.
principal like you guys?
eh?
Did the principal like you guys?
No, he didn't like us at all.
And the principal was Donald McIntosh.
McIntyre says, I will not, and I cannot educate these Mexicans better than the white boy.
That's what
Everybody
he-
heard him, and what was the name of the French teacher? I forgot his name. He quit when he heard that.
Uh-huh.
He said, "We're here to teach." He said, "I'm out." He walked out. The French teacher.
Uh-huh.
We had the Spanish teacher. What was the Spanish teacher in high school?
I
Pesqueira.
never-
Pesquera?
Pesqueira. Spanish teacher.
I didn't go to high school.
Oh, okay. Pesqueira, the Spanish teacher. So there was a lot. There was some white students. They wanted to learn the Spanish. So McIntyre says no. So he got rid of her. And see, this is what my deal is. So when I went into the service, and being the only Spanish-speaking guy, I thought they were gonna put me down. Hey, when you're out there, man, I said, my experience with the service was beautiful because I was treated equal.
Ah, so
That's
you
when,
felt
that's when I became an American, not a Chicano.
with the service
Yeah.
gave you that feeling of
Yeah,
I belong,
yeah.
I'm
I
an
belong,
American.
I belong.
and they're gonna judge me on my merits
Yeah,
and my ability to do
Yeah.
things.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the pilot was the one that told me because I remember when we went, my last deal, I went to Washington D.C. for the Geothermal Reunion. I asked Max, the co-pilot, says, how did Blaine get a hold of me to be in the crew? He says, because he says he went with my firing deal. He says, hi. He told me, he says, you heard him?
Well,
He told me, he says, you were in the top 10 in the gunnery range. So he showed you. And somebody said, isn't he a Mexican speaking guy? He said, yeah, but he can shoot. He says, and that's what I want. I don't care who he is, as long as he can shoot. But as soon as I got into the crew, I mean, we worked together. It was a wonderful feeling. And then I have to lost Daddy, my buddy. Oh, I still have this man in here.
Uh-huh,
To this day. Yeah.
So being in the service made a tremendous difference on how you felt towards the world.
Yes, because these guys were out there. I mean, we were just one happy family. The whole thing. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow, what beautiful. Scary but beautiful. Because if you say you don't get scared, that's because you're not there.
Yeah. And it was completely different what you had experienced in Colton.
Yeah, oh, very, very, very different. Very, very different. So I was just wishing that some of the guys that did me the shoving would be up there with me. I said, okay, now. Yeah. But my crew members, my pilot, co-pilot, everybody, and the whole group was beautiful.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Now,
Yes.
Luis, let me change a little bit. How did you meet Lucy?
My sister introduced me to her in 1945 when I came from overseas.
When you came from overseas,
Yes.
you were introduced,
Yeah.
and
So I took her to a dance and we dated a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. But then she had already, you had already met Frank.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I met him
She-
after
She
that.
met Frank, her husband that she married,
Father of my children.
father of her children. And I met Elsie, so I met Elsie, and I married Elsie, and she married Frank.
Okay,
In all
okay.
these years. And then Elsie and I, Elsie and I, we divorced. Then I stayed alone for a long while. Then I met Patricia Huggins, and we got married. And we were married for 12 years, and then she passed away. I was widowed, and I spent a year by myself. Then I met Ann, and we married, and she had a sickness, and the doctor told me, get her out of here. So I went to Stockton with her. And so I was already not working, and so I got a place in Stockton. But I didn't buy a home because I didn't have the money. I rented, and I didn't buy my home until not recently, at my age.
Now, how did you meet Lucy?
When I brought my daughter back from burying Ann, she lived in Ontario.
Okay,
My daughter lived in Ontario. She lived in Colton. Well, you lived in Fontana.
No, I was living in Fontana,
In
yeah.
Fontana. And
I had just lost my husband.
I brought my kids home from the burial. And my niece told her that I was over here, so she took her over.
Your sister,
My
Paula
sister.
told me.
Well, my sister told her that I was over
Here's
here.
the phone number, call him up.
so you jumped at the opportunity, huh, Lucy?
I went, and I called him up, and his ex-wife answered.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not here right now, but I'll give me your number and I'll have him call you. She never did give him the number.
I don't blame her, so, but how did you go through the,
We've been divorced for years, you know, and
So I called back.
Uh-huh, so
And he
you were
was there.
persistent,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was a dead duck,
yeah.
¿verdad?
Then that Sunday he came over.
Uh-huh.
I was living by myself with my son in a little condominium. And he came over, and I had been working. I got off at 5. And my son says, one of your friends are here looking for you. And I didn't think it was him, but he showed up at the door.
I showed up with my 2 dogs.
Yeah, with his daughter and granddaughter.
My daughter,
You have Vicky and Elsie, Alicia.
Alicia.
And that was that then.
That was
that.
Yeah.
And how long have you been married now?
We didn't get married immediately
We
because
lived together for 25 years, and we just got married about a year, not even a year yet.
Oh, you
We
were
did get
living in
married.
sin, Luis.
yeah, we're living in sin.
You were living in
I
sin.
wanted to be forgiven.
But
I
congratulations.
told everybody he made an honest woman out of me when we got married.
Congratulations.
Just out of the
That's-
blue, he decided, let's get married. I said,
That's
okay.
good news. That's
So we
good
went to the
news.
courthouse and got married, then we got
Uh-huh.
married by church.
Uh-huh.
We went the whole route.
That's wonderful. That's
Everything is
wonderful.
in there.
Yeah.
The one that Dr. Isaac wrote me
Huh?
about not being able to workability.
Yeah.
My Dr. Isaac, he is I think very highly of this doctor that he takes care of the POWs
Uh-huh.
at the hospital here in Loma Linda.
Uh-huh.
He is a wonderful doctor. He takes care of me. In fact, I gotta go see him
Okay.
next week.
Luis, you mentioned that being in the service gave you a new outlook on life.
Yes, from my
That,
own, and the way I felt about myself.
That it was completely different growing up in a segregated community
Yeah.
where people in the North End didn't want us,
No,
the schools didn't want us,
no.
and we were regulated to one side of the theater. What about the plunge, the swimming hole, the
We even
plunge?
had our own swimming pool.
Caldera.
Caldera swimming pool, because the only time that they would allow us to go to the swimming pool in North Colton was when they were draining the pool.
Okay,
So
okay.
what does that tell you?
You're not wanted. You're not wanted. Stay on your side of the tracks. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. Now, you mentioned that there was that wonderful feeling that you had that you were an American.
Yes,
You felt American.
because I was just as good or better as everybody else.
Right, right. Now, with that feeling and coming home, Luis, and there was still that feeling of segregation
Mhm.
when you came home from the service.
Yes.
The integration started in '53
Mhm.
when they integrated the schools, the
Mhm.
junior high school.
Mhm.
What was your feeling when you got home? That were you going to take that treatment that you took before, or were you going to fight that treatment, or were you going to fight for people being treated the way they should be treated?
Well, when I went to the to the military guys, I forget the not the American Legion. What's the place that I go to
For what?
for the Veterans Administration?
Yeah, the Veterans Administration.
Veterans Administration. When I went out there, they were real helpful, but there was no record of me ever being, and they felt bad for me. So, but they kept on, and then you read my disabilities
Right,
here,
right, uh-huh.
and I asked the guy, I says, on one of the paper said that the Purple Heart, no way, because they don't have no knowledge of me ever being treated at Camp Lucky Strike. They had a neck brace, spine brace, and a brace over here. Here you can see where the brace was hitting here.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
see.
got all the, but this is not enough. They have to have written that I was there and they treated me for this, and all this that I showed you.
Yeah.
The no.
Yeah, the injuries. But what I'm asking, Luis, is when you came back to Colton,
Uh-huh.
was there a feeling that I'm an American, I paid my dues, and I shouldn't be treated like I was treated before?
No, because I was treated, we were being treated better when I came back. I mean, Jesus, man, it was a different attitude altogether.
By whom, Luis?
By the white people of North Colton, and we got together, and it was a different feeling altogether.
So World War II did
Changed
make
it,
change,
yeah.
make change the feeling
Changed the
somewhat.
feeling, too.
Yeah. Were you able to go to the theater without having?
Yes.
Were you able to go to the swimming pool?
Yes,
Were you able to shop downtown Colton?
yeah, yeah.
So it was completely different. So
Completely different.
World War II made a difference. Then.
It sure did.
World War II made a difference.
And well, I'm telling you, that's a wonderful feeling. But that feeling came to me in the service.
Uh-huh.
Wow, man, it's beautiful to be accepted.
Oh, well, and then you feel that you still have that pride
Yes,
that when you want to get together with your service people,
yes,
you want to get together with your buddies,
yeah,
because you all share that feeling
yes,
that we are brothers,
Yes.
no matter what our backgrounds are.
yes.
Yeah.
And in combat, you pull together. There's
Mhm.
no way that it's hard to explain, but it's there. You feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned before, or I mentioned before, that World War II did make that attitude change
Yes.
in the communities.
Even for buying homes and everything, but when I went to try to buy a home, I couldn't work, so, and then I couldn't get anything going. So that's when they put me on disability. I didn't buy the home that I'm buying now. I got it on Section 8 on account of my injuries.
Mm.
And so then the owners told me, says, we'll make it possible for you to buy this home, but you have to get a VA loan. I said, at my age? He said, yes. So they were a great help to me. So I'm buying my home now at 90 years.
So you were able to buy a home through a VA loan?
The VA loan, 30-year contract.
Very good. Very
But
good. So
I'm
that
not
was,
gonna last 30 years,
but that was one of the benefits that you got for being a. Let me ask you another question. Being a prisoner of war, do you get special privileges or do you get special things that are assigned to you or that you qualify for?
There's a lot of stuff that I don't go for because I don't need it. But like I don't pay the card tax. I don't pay those.
Registration, huh?
Yeah. Registration. I don't pay those.
Okay,
I don't pay property taxes. I'm exempt.
okay.
I'm exempt in a lot of stuff. I'm exempt. PW status. And that's all I need. And the people tell me, why don't you go out this and that for recreation? Says, recreation, I love to fish. I can't fish anymore, so why?
Yeah, but there were some perks that you got because of you were a prisoner of war.
Yes,
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Well, you deserve them.
yes,
You deserve. You got beaten enough for that.
yes.
You deserve them. Yeah. Tell me about some of your friends in Colton. In particular, Tommy Cabrera,
Tommy Contreras, he just passed away.
right?
He was in the, he lost his leg way up here.
Uh-huh.
So did Gilbert Palomino, two of my buddies.
Uh-huh.
They lost his leg, so we were buddies from teenagers. We'd get together in the evening after supper in the corner right there, 7th and L.
7th and L? Okay.
There's a big tree there. We go there and just talk.
Uh-huh.
We didn't go for this graffiti, none
Yeah.
of this stuff that these kids go to for. No graffiti. We'd go to the dances. Our cars were open. The cars were open. You know. Now.
What about recreation, Luis? Did
Recreation?
you guys play rebote or handball?
Handball. I couldn't play baseball with it because nobody wanted me for my size.
Uh-huh.
So I played handball when I was in the 3rd grade. I started playing handball. High school handball. I even beat the coach in handball. Guy Martinez and myself. Guy Martinez was the quarterback from the high school football.
The Yellow Jackets?
Yeah, Yellow Jackets thing. Anyway, Guy Martinez and me, we went to Bonita High School against this, what was his name, this cadet guy, with Doug Blanchard and this cadet guy, I forget.
Glenn Davis?
Glenn Davis. We beat him and this other guy that took that in the school. We beat him for the trophy. We beat him 3 straight sets.
Of handball?
Handball. I would go to handball. Man, I play handball at night. We'd paint the ball with this aluminum paint that you could see it at night. Man, not with your hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
And boy,
La mano pelona.
the Mano Pelona, and Guy Martinez and I, we beat Glenn Davis and Doug Blanchard in the
Okay.
handball court. 3 sets.
Well, they were quite a name back then.
Yeah, but in the handball, hey, no way, man. And I beat everybody that I played handball, except one guy, Sal Ayala. I never could beat him.
Tell me about Sal. Who was Sal Ayala?
Sal Ayala was, we started school together. He is in the Navy. And he got he got hit with the kamikazes. His ship got the kamikazes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He still lives in Colton. Now he can't hear, and oh boy.
Oh, he still
Oh,
lives in Colton.
yeah, he's in Colton.
Yeah. Well, you said you got together with your friends under the tree on 7th and
7th and
and
L.
L Street. ¿Qué
Yeah.
más hacían?
Yeah.
What else do you guys do?
We just talked about this and that, you know, and whatever. And some guy would say, well, I did this and all that, you know, just a togetherness. Because I couldn't stay there too long because my dad told me, I said, if I can't see you from this porch, you're in trouble.
And how many guys would hang around with you there?
It'd be me and Tony, about 10, 12 guys.
Can you name them? Más o menos?
Más o menos. Diego Rosales, Soco Rosales, Bob Rosales, Severo, Bernie, David Hombre, Delgadillo, and Severo, Bernie, Felix Negrete, Felix Cortez.
Well, that was a good bunch of people.
Yeah,
A good bunch of people, like Felix Cortez, worked for the cement plant.
Yeah.
After he got out of the
Charlie
service.
Redondo, El Diablo.
Charlie, you hung around with Charlie también?
He was in school with me. We started school together.
Huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kindergarten.
With Charlie Arredondo?
Charlie Redondo, El Diablo, yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie
he was a
Redondo.
motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
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 And then Diego was a
Diego Rosales.
he was a boxer.
He was a boxer.
Uh-huh.
He won the Golden Gloves. Champion in Golden
Yeah, he
Gloves.
beat Sabas
Yeah, he beat Sabas.
Roblero.
La Gamarra.
¿Cómo?
La Gamarra.
¿Qué quiere decir eso? What-
I don't know.
That's his nickname, eh?
That's-
Tell me about nicknames. Did people have nicknames?
What, La Gamarra, La Garfopeta, El Diablo, Nalga Bruta, about 3 or 4 of them.
But there were nicknames, eh?
Yeah,
There were
nicknames,
nicknames? There
yeah.
were nicknames?
His nicknames, yeah.
Can you remember some
All
of
his
them,
friends
Lucy?
have nicknames. I can't even, I don't never know any of their real name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Did
my young days with my buddies, yeah, and then what hurt when they come home overseas, I would go to their homes and say, no, he got killed. My buddy Frankie Morales, he was my high school buddy. I went to his house, and then somebody stopped me and said, "Don't go because he got killed overseas." I said, "Oh boy!" And all of my buddies said, "They're gone from the war."
So we had quite a number of young men from Colton that participated in World War II.
Oh yeah, at least 10 of them. Man,
They were your buddies, were they?
my high school buddy, my school buddy from we started from kindergarten to high school,
Uh-huh.
and then into the war.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, that hurt.
Yeah.
The one that hurt me the most is my buddy Eddie Essinger, the combat guy.
Uh-huh.
We had a bicycle built for two in England with direct lights. And we were close. We were close, and boy, when I couldn't find him, and then they told me, and then my pilot went to overseas, and he sent me the place where he's buried in overseas, and broke to pieces, man. I'll tell you.
Luis, World War II made quite an impact on you, ¿verdad?
Oh yes, it did.
Yeah. It changed your life.
Well, it changed anybody's life that when you look down on them like you're an animal, you know, and then all of a sudden they treat you like a human being, you know.
It's quite a
Yeah.
quite a change in perception, ¿verdad?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah,
of course, yes.
yeah. Well, getting back to your buddies that hung around on 7th and L Street,
Yeah,
¿qué
yeah.
más hacían?
They,
Did you guys go swimming at the?
we would go swimming at the Caldera pool, and everybody would be diving, and then they had good divers,
Uh-huh.
but they wouldn't allow them in North Colton. No way.
To compete, they couldn't compete in North
They couldn't
Dakota.
compete, no.
Yeah.
My uncle John Rios, he wrote 2 songs in Spanish. In 1937, I say I was what, 23, 30, 33, 10, 37, 38, 39, before the 40s. My dad and I, we took him because he didn't drive to this musical people in San Bernardino. We got this thing published. And the guy just come out real, and I'm King Kong, you know, says, this service is only for white people. You go and play your music, play your music in the dumps, but not here.
Boy, you really went through.
And my dad says, you go to hell, you. That's my first time that I saw my dad mad and hurt and angry.
Uh-huh.
He says, this man had, and he composed 2 waltzes. Beautiful, beautiful music. Hey. So a guy came from Mexico that Juan Rio had taught taught him music and taught him how to play trombone. They call him the Chicano Tommy Dorsey in Mexicali. When he heard us play that waltz, he says, I'll have it published in Mexico under your name. And my dad told Juan, don't give him the music because he's not going to do right by you. And he was right. He went to Mexico and published that song under his name.
And so your dad was right then. Beware.
We went over that to see it, and they announced it. A great composer of this Spanish music, and boom, boom, boom. And my dad went up there and said, you dirty son.
So your dad was quite a champion in protecting his family.
Mm.
Yeah. Did you guys ever go swimming in Los Coninos?
Oh yeah, El Cuadrito.
Sí.
Oh yeah, we'd walk over there. And we'd swim over there, cold, ice cold.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we went out there with Juan Rios' mother. We'd walk out there from 5th and L Street.
Okay.
We'd walk to the Cuninos
Okay.
from there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And spend the whole day in
Whole day with watermelons and you name it. And,
Uh-huh.
oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Yeah. So you had a wonderful group of people that you grew up with.
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And Luis, did you, were you say you worked at Norton Air Force Base. And what was your job?
Engine mechanic. I went on 1340 engines. I started with 1340 engines, small engines, and when they would have the bigger engines, then we had to take them apart so that take the cylinders and replace new cylinders on the engines.
You were still in high school. How did you get that job?
They had an announcement, anything that had to do with airplanes. At selection unit, you go there and put your name in, and it was open
Okay.
because they knew we were going to have to get working in the airports and airplanes. The only thing that I couldn't do is work with small stuff. They gave me the bomb sight. I couldn't do it. No, I said, I need something to do. I can go in my hands.
Uh-huh.
They gave me a cylinder, this big. That was right up my alley.
And when you were working there, that's when they drafted you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I went and told the guy, I says, I had already passed my physical,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave me 2 weeks, and then and 2 weeks to go into the army. And I went and told the guys at Northern Air Force Base, and I didn't know anything about getting a furlough from the job. I never even heard of the word furlough. But the guys knew, but they told me you have to resign.
Oh, so you could have gotten some type of leave, some type of leave.
Correct.
And when you got back after the service, you could have gotten your job back.
You resign, you don't have anything here.
So they asked you to resign, and you resigned.
Yeah.
And lost your job.
Lost my job.
When you came back, you didn't have a job.
I didn't have a job.
Uh-huh.
So I belonged to the what was it, the 5220 club, $20 a week.
What is it?
5220 club, 52 weeks, we'd give $20 a week.
Was it unemployment?
We just had your time of the day and your day of the week. We'd go to San Bernardino and get $20
Okay.
once
okay.
a week.
Okay.
$20 at the time I was drinking hard wouldn't even last me 5 minutes in a bar.
Ooh. Luis, you've had a hard life, ¿verdad? First of all, you couldn't booze it up as much as you wanted, and then you got shot down on a plane,
Yeah.
and they beat the hell out of you in Germany. And then after that,
I couldn't get a job.
you couldn't get a job.
Nothing. I worked at Campono 3 years. I was taking my dad's, my dad got me to the doctor, and he had to pay for my pain pills. So I kept on working after it got too bad. But that's it.
Well, Luis, but you're 91. I mean, like el dicho dice, la vida es dura,
Yeah.
pero más duro que la aguanta.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, life is tough, but the
Oh,
person
man.
that can stand it is tougher.
Yeah, I heard that saying before.
Yes, that's who you are, Luis.
Yeah.
That's who you are. Yeah.
So man, when Campono, when I came home overseas, I went to Mount Vernon and San Bernardino. Me and Bel Cervantes.
Well, tell me about Camp Polo. That's where we had prisoners of war here in San Bernardino,
Yes.
and it was located just outside of the close to the college here.
Yes.
Yeah, in this area here,
Yeah, this
someplace.
area, Campono.
Camp Ono. And we had Italians and we had Germans there.
They had German prisoners of war. They had their own German uniform. Bel Cervantes and myself, we had gone to Norton. They had a air show over there. So we came back in the early evening, maybe between 5 and 6. On 5th and Mount Vernon, here's these German soldiers.
The khaki cactus?
Huh?
The khaki cactus?
Yeah. Yeah, but these German soldiers, 10 of them, 20 of them, 30 of them, on Mount Vernon, drinking beer on the street with their German suits on. And here's me and Ralph with our ruptured duck on our shirt, POWs.
And then Ralph was also injured in the war.
He was also a prisoner of war.
Right.
Yeah. And we had our 45. I had my shoulder holster 45. We went into this bar, cocktail bar there, and we took the last booth. And so we ordered our drinks. And when the guy was bringing in our drinks, he says, you have to go to the bar because I want this booth for my friends. I said, okay, fine. Ralph and I, we didn't argue that, you know, this is friends, but what the heck will you go to the bar and drink? We got out of the booth. We started walking out, and that's it, and his friends were 4 German soldiers with their uniforms, and I blew it.
You saw red.
I saw red, and I pulled my 45 out. Right then and then, you know, me and Ralph, or I said Ralph and I. And there was a bar across the street, Mary Sarters, had pizza and the whole thing, you know. We had this poor guy, we were gonna shoot him. How can I shoot the boogers, man? And so the lady came out, Mary Sarters said, you boys don't wanna do that. She said, you're gonna get in trouble because this is not a combat zone. And she kept talking to us, you know. And we couldn't even talk, Ralph and I, we were, yeah. And here comes the police. They couldn't handle that because we were military. So before you know it, we had the MPs in there. And he says, what in the hell are these prisoners of war doing here with this guy just coming out of the POW camps? And he said, whoever he talked to, come and get a truck and get these guys out of here before this murder committed in here, because there's more of us coming from prisons of war in San Bernardino. There was a lot of people down here. And oh man, what a mess. So they put me in the guardhouse in Northern Air Force Base and all this stuff. And in 3 days, then they turned us loose. But they even held dances for the prisoners of war here in Camp Bono, that our women were going over there dancing with them.
So that didn't fit well with you, or
No, that's not.
especially the experience that you went through in Germany.
No way.
Yeah.
Man, no.
Well, you were lucky on that one that you didn't shoot anybody.
Yeah, but we came that close. Oh, Ralph going in and talking just like that.
Yeah, Ralph was quite a guy, really, because when he came back from the war, Ralph wanted to buy a house in North Colton, and they wouldn't sell it to him. So he went to court, and he finally bought the house in North Colton near the junior high school. Yeah, so he's one of the first Mexicans that bought a house in North
No,
Colton.
her father, before the war, bought the house where you were born.
What?
Your father,
Oh,
but-
my dad built that house in
Because
1923.
of the name Burnell.
Oh, so they thought,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I don't know how a lot had to do with his last name.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Hispanic name, it was Burnell.
Uh-huh.
French
He
name.
didn't have any problem, and he spoke English all the time. He broken English, but he always spoke English.
Was he as light as you are?
He was from Mexico City.
But was he light?
He was born in
He
Mexico City.
was it light-headed, light?
No, he
No,
wasn't. He was
no.
he was dark complected.
Yeah,
Not real dark, but he wasn't real light.
yeah.
My brothers were both real light complected.
Uh-huh.
All three of my brothers were real light complected.
You were also born and raised in Colton.
Huh?
Yes.
You were also born in Colton.
I had three brothers.
You were born in Colton.
Oh, I was born right there on Valley Boulevard.
Oh, so she's a Coltonite.
Yeah, Colton.
She's a Coltonite.
No.
That's wonderful.
In
Yeah.
1934, he decided to go to Brawley. My uncle instigated it. There was a market for sale, a little neighborhood market.
Yes.
And he decided to be his own boss, and he quit his job and went over there and ran that market for 11 years.
All the people in South Colton made a living over the cement plant
That and La PFE,
in the PFE.
y La Pizca,
La Pizca.
La Volucha.
Yeah, that's it.
And then there were some that work in agriculture,
Yeah,
you know, Cooley Ranch.
yeah,
And then my dad Rumba worked in construction
yeah.
with El Gordo.
And Gordo.
So we were self-sufficient in South Colton.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were
Self-sufficient.
We had our grocery stores. Y La Calle 7 was always
Okay,
jumping.
our sombrero
Yeah,
dancing.
yeah.
We had it made.
Yeah, we did. It was a self-sufficient community.
Mhm.
Yeah. Luis, just thinking about living in Colton, both of you, okay, Lucy?
Mhm.
Both of you, just living in Colton. What was the best thing that you can remember or can, you know, kind of think about that you experienced, or was one of the best things that happened to you while you were living in Colton? I know you still live in Colton,
Mhm.
but what was some of the best things that happened to you when you were young that you can remember? One of the best things. And you too, Lucy, which was a good experience for you living in Colton?
Oh, I can't even think that far back with my brain on ice skates. I can remember having the stuff.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, I guess,
Being a good handball player?
well, that was what I liked, because I enjoyed the handball, but what I liked about is when gathering with my friends, you know.
Uh-huh.
That's what I like most, that my friends, and then my friend Billy Freeman, when I went to, when they took me to Lincoln School, he was one hell of a buddy, Billy Freeman, the Freeman Ranch. And where I live right now,
Uh-huh.
there was nothing but cattle and horse ranch.
Ah,
All that. And he was not one of these guys that said, he was just with us also.
mhm.
And we became friends since the 5th grade.
So friends that you had in Colton?
Yeah.
in South Colton and also Billy Freeman in North
Yeah,
Colton.
North Colton, he was one hell of a guy, a good, him see, I forgot his name. The actor,
It's the steel helmet,
Gil
Gene
Helmet.
Evans, Gene
Gene
Evans.
Evans and Bud Evans, they were good people with us. They were good, they were just down to earth guys, you know?
Uh-huh. So you remember friends, eh, and people
Yeah.
that you became buddies with.
Yeah.
Those were the good things that happened to you in Colton.
Yes.
What about you, Lucy? What about you?
She can't hear you.
How about you? What are the a good experience that you had that you can remember living in Colton?
We left Colton in 1934, and I came back in 1943.
Well, he wants to know how was the best thing that happened to you when you lived in Colton?
Well, I was too small. I was 7 years old.
How is the best experience that you had to make you feel happy with being in Colton?
I know, but I didn't live in Colton when I was young.
No,
I
no.
mean,
I was
7 years old when we went to Brawley.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't explain it well.
Yeah.
When you
The
grew
best
up.
things I can remember is our summers coming back to Colton.
Okay.
My dad never rented the house out, so we just come back and move into the house again and spend the summer there, and then we'd go back to Brawley.
That
was the best part
And then
of my-
catch up
My childhood
with your
was
Colton
Those
friends.
trips from Brawley over to Colton.
And then
Yeah.
catching up with people that you
Yeah.
knew before. You didn't say the best thing, that you got together with Luis again.
Oh, you got together with me? Well, see, we were never that close together until after we got widowed.
We
Then
used to
we
spend
got
the
together.
summers over in South Colton with the Martinez family.
Uh-huh.
And he said he was up and down 7th Street there, but I don't remember
Up and
him.
down L Street with my roller skates.
The roller skates
Well, you
all
also a
over the
roller
place.
skater.
Oh, I used to go to school roller skates.
Ah.
When-
Well, listen, is there anything that I forgot to mention, Luis and
Not-
Lucy?
Not that I can think of, no. You're pretty well measured in this way.
Well, listen, I want to thank you, both of you, eh? I
Mhm.
want to thank both of you
Yeah.
because, doing this interview again, and I got a call from the Library of Congress, Luis. They have a program called the Veterans History Project,
Mhm.
and they want a copy of today's interview that we had today.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
we'll make a copy for them and send it to them. And again, thank you so much for
Okay.
helping with the interview.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty.
Well done.